Okay, this is not an exaggeration. I have watched the 1997 Cinderella with Brandy and Whitney Houston twice in the last 24 hours. And I'm going to tell you why. Because it's the greatest rendition of Cinderella of all time. And if you disagree with me, my address is 1234 Spooky Street. You can line up and fight me because this is the best version of Cinderella ever. Oh my god, go watch it right now and tell me that it's not the best Cinderella ever. They do not make movies that good anymore. You can come fight me, like I said, you can, but I'm right, and you know I'm right. And I'm probably gonna watch it a third time after I get done filming tonight. Oh my god, Impossible, Whitney Houston's Impossible. Oh. Hi guys, my name is Lacey of Spooky Lips and Fat Hips, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, because I'm always behind on reviews, I'm going to be doing another cluster of mini reviews all thrown into one video, even though I don't really see these reviews being that many because I do have a lot to say about all of them. But you know, today we're going to be talking about hyped up indie makeup. I'm going to be reviewing and swatching these products. And I've said this, and like every single time I do a collection of reviews, I always bring all of this up. I'm going to say it one more time, in case anyone new is watching me. Hello, hi. I like to do my reviews in clusters and groups like this. One, because sometimes I just don't have that much to say to fill out a whole video for one product. Two, and this is most of the reason why, I am not that great at having a consistent filming schedule, so product reviews get backed up, and this is just the easiest way to like give it to you guys all at once. And three, so much shit comes out at any given moment, and I'm constantly buying, especially eyeshadows, because I love it so much. So we're keeping the ball rolling, you know, moving along in makeup world, but just doing all the reviews all at once. So, but you guys seem to be very receptive and like excited about this format of reviews too, so as long as there's a mutual liking for it, we're gonna keep it going. Like I said, like the title name suggests, we're gonna be talking about hyped up indie releases today. So whether the build up to these products was a lot, or maybe the brands themselves are really exciting, or just for one reason or another, I'm considering these products to be a little bit more hyped than maybe other indie products that I've talked about on this channel before. I'm gonna basically do this in three clusters of products, and you're going to see why in a second if you haven't figured it out already. But I'm going to be starting it off with the newest release in this collection of reviews, and just one that you might already know my thoughts on. This is the Afrique palette from Juvia's Place, and if you're not new to my channel, you know how I feel about Juvia's Place. The reason why I am considering this to be a hyped palette, one, because it's Juvia's Place. Two, because we kind of saw a sneak peek of this beautiful cover like months ago when they announced that they were going to be in Riley Rose stores. Is that what it's called? Riley Rose? Yeah, Riley Rose. I don't have one anywhere near me, unfortunately. So we saw the sneak peek of this cover art with what looked like it was going to be part of a collection, and it was going to be in Riley Rose exclusive, or so I thought. And then this dropped with the announcement that Juvia's Place is now at Ulta, and specifically Ulta Beauty online, but if it does well, I can imagine these coming to Ulta stores, which would be amazing. So this palette released, Afrique collection. I keep opening and closing the palette. It looks like this. People have opinions on it. And then it also released with a liquid lipstick, which I have yet to try any of the Juvia's Place liquid lipsticks, only because I own too many lipsticks for a human being to own, and I can't just be buying everything Juvia's Place releases unless like I can't, because I already buy every eyeshadow palette they make. However, it also released with two blushes, so I did get the two blushes in the collection and the eyeshadow palette, so just everything in the Afrique collection except the liquid lipstick. I bought this directly from the Juvia's Place website because I believe when they launched at Ulta, pretty much all of their palettes came to Ulta except this. I imagine it'll be there soon. Juvia's Place does ship out of the state I live in, which is New Jersey, so I tend to get things like within 2 days when I order from Juvia's Place, so that's my experience. I know when they first launched, a lot of people had a lot of issues with their shipping time. I've never had an issue with their shipping time, and I don't even think that has to do with me living in New Jersey. They just tend to ship things out the next day, and I get them relatively fast. This is the palette. This is the eyeshadow palette, and honestly, I've yet to be disappointed with the Juvia's Place palette, and that stands for this. First of all, the packaging always the detail. I know a lot of people didn't like the blue and the orange together, especially this blue backdrop. I think it was Angelica said that she felt this cheap in the palette. I always love like the detail of it. I like the blue and the orange. I think I'm in the minority of saying that. And just this color story, a lot of people, when I posted on Instagram that this was the new palette, the inside of the palette, a lot of people were like, pass. A couple other people said it reminded them of the Crayon Case palette, which I can understand that. I really like this. This actually might be one of my favorite Juvia's Place palettes that I've gotten, which I feel like I'm in the minority of saying that. The reason why I say that though is because this green is amazing, this orange is amazing, this blue is amazing, and this yellow. Like, the thing about Juvia's Place eyeshadows is they're more pigmented than what actually makes sense for the price. And what I mean by that is, a lot of you guys are constantly messaging me like, what's a good colorful eyeshadow? What's a good colorful eyeshadow formula that's like more affordable? Because I do preach Sugar Pill a lot, because they're, to me, the be all end all of colorful eyeshadows. And then also I've gotten my hands on the Viseart Editorial Brights, which I also really love, and that's not cheap either. Juvia's Place palettes, like, with the affiliate code, this costs like 20 bucks. And these are such pigmented eyeshadows. They're not... Okay, so typically if you're familiar with my reviews, I tend to like really more creamy, like denser, like practically blend themselves shadows. These aren't that. These are a very, like a drier formula. Like, they don't really swatch that impressively for that reason, because they are drier. Okay, maybe I'm eating my words. This isn't that bad. But on the eyes, these are so easy to work with because you dip your brush in, you get pigment right away, and you just get, it's intense. And I've talked about these, I'm running out of clean fingers. I need to get a makeup wipe. And I've talked about their metallic formula a lot too, because I think that's really what a lot of people love about Juvia's Place, is they have a very high shine, high foil, wet to the touch, creamy, silicone-y, oily, metallic eyeshadow formula. And I think people go bananas over this formula for that reason. Overall, like I said, I've yet to be disappointed with the Juvia's Place palette. I know when I put on my Instagram that they had released at Ulta, a lot of you guys were like, well, which palette do you recommend? I said this before, I'm going to say it again. I haven't met a Juvia's Place eyeshadow palette that I didn't like. I really think it all depends on, is this the color story for you? Because I would highly recommend it if it is. I really like these more primary colors. They don't really have anything like this in their palettes already. Maybe the Zulu palette. But I like this a little bit better than the Zulu palette, because you do get those browns that you can kind of make these more... I'm not even going to say it. I'm just going to put the word here because the word annoys me so badly. I think this is really fun. I have been doing a lot of so I said this in the beginning of my channel that I was trying to calm down my eye looks for work, because I can wear whatever makeup I want to work. The start of me going to work this summer, I tried to keep it neutral and simple so that people wouldn't treat me like crap. And it's just progressively, like, I've stopped caring progressively, and my eye looks have gotten more and more ridiculous as the summer's gone on. So to get this, like, tested under my belt for this video, I've been doing some really ridiculous eye looks with this palette for work. Like, doing some crazy, like, blue and orangey things. I love it so much. It's so much fun to me. I will say this yellow. I feel like in eyeshadow land, we're hurting for a good yellow. I'm just starting to come to the conclusion that yellow is just a difficult color, because this is a beautiful yellow and it's really fun to blend into this green and this blue, and like, but it's not going to look like you've just rubbed like yellow, beautiful, pigmented highlighterness on your face, if that makes sense. Like, yellow is just a light color by nature, so unless you're going to put it over a white base or something, it's not going to be as intense as maybe like this blue. Does that make sense? I just feel like a lot of you guys always ask me like, what is a yellow eyeshadow that you would recommend? And I feel like this is a good yellow, Sugar Pill's a good yellow, Buttercup I think it's called. I just feel like yellows are just all around difficult because it's just a light color. It is what it is. I'm sorry if that's not helpful in any way, but my opinions on the palette are that I think it's what I expected for Juvia's Place in the best possible way. It's a good formula. It's so affordable. Can't beat it. Absolutely cannot beat it. Cannot beat it. I am so unbelievably impressed with these blushes too. Oh my gosh. So this is the Bella blush and the Serafina blush. I hope I'm saying that right. These are $8 a piece. They have similar cardboard packaging to the regular Juvia's Place eyeshadow palettes. They have mirrors. This packaging reminds me a lot of the Balm. Bella is more of like a red, whereas Serafina is like a peachy nude that everyone kind of loves. I think these are good staple colors to have in your blush collection. I really like these because these are very pigmented. These are meant, I think, personally for someone who wants a more pigmented blush. Like if you can see, I tend to go a little banana sandwich on my cheek products, but that's only to even out the ridiculousness that is my eyes and my lips. So I don't think anyone's looking to me for like a natural makeup review. But I will say these are very pigmented, but they're not eyeshadow level pigmented, which I like. That's very nice. So I'm going to swatch them real quick. I'm hoping this comes across on camera is what I'm trying to explain. These are pigmented enough but sheer enough that they work very well for a blush, and I think the formula is very nice and they blend out very easy and very effortlessly. Whereas I've heard with their previous blush palettes that those are pigmented to the level of like eyeshadows. This isn't that, because I don't think people want that whole like eyeshadow pigmentation on their cheeks unless you're maybe me. I think most people want a sheerness that they can build up as desired. These are really nice, especially the variety of the two shades, because this definitely would look beautiful on deeper skin tones. This will definitely look beautiful on lighter skin tones, or you could be like me and not give a shit, just wear whatever you want. Do what makes you happy. I like the subtle detail of having one have a green detail and one having a pink detail to match the overall aesthetic of the whole collection. I just think it's nice. I think these are really nice, and I'm excited to see Juvia's Place expand into more products because everyone loves their eyeshadow palettes and like knows them. I haven't heard that much about the liquid lipsticks, to be honest. Like, I really feel like everyone's hooked on their eyeshadow, so to see them go into like face product territory, I'm really excited to see what they come out with in the future. So I know this collection's probably sold out right now. I believe it is. It'll come back. Juvia's Place is really good about restocking. I know the whole collection, the whole Afrique collection is bundled together. You'll be able to get it, don't worry. It's coming back, I can promise you. Juvia's Place is good about that. The next palettes I want to talk about, I know you guys have been waiting for me to talk about, and I've been waiting to talk about them, so whew, the moment's finally here. These are the Paleo and Archeo palettes from Clionadh Cosmetics, and these to me were so incredibly hyped. Oh my gosh. Plus just like maybe not difficult to get my hands on, but like a little bit of an ordeal. Clionadh Cosmetics is another indie brand, as the name suggests. We all know I love indie makeup. The Paleo palette is a past release from the brand that came back to accompany the new release of their Archeo palette. These palettes got a lot of attention because everything about them is handmade. I don't know if you can see them. They are hand painted palettes. They're individually created so that everyone's palette is going to have that like handmade uniqueness to it, that little bit of like difference in all of them. And a lot of care went into these palettes, I'll tell you that. I'm also like afraid to handle them because they're so delicate, because they were hand painted. This is the Paleo palette, and I really want you to take a second to appreciate the detail. Like, this is textured. Like, the detail of this is so beautiful. And then you open it up and it looks like this, and I gotta tell you, this is one of the most beautiful color stories I've ever seen for an eyeshadow palette. I love this color story so much. I love these colors. I love them all together. These are so unique. I feel like I have very few, if anything, in my collection, just like color story wise, that even remotely resembles this. It's like earthy, but just like so absolutely beautiful. The Archeo palette, everything's kind of crackled. Oh, I should mention, paleontology and archaeology. If you're like that, those are the themes of this palette, which again, so unique. Oh my god, like people, they do the companies, they do the mermaids, they do the unicorns, like they do like the mythical creatures thing, like beauty, glamour, elegance. Who is doing paleontology and archaeology as themes to their makeup collections? That's incredible. And also, like, I mean, I studied geology and paleontology for a long time. My love of those two things led me to my love of anthropology, and that's a tale for another day when I talk about my college experience. But like, come on, ignore the Stephen King books, but this collection was made for me. Back to the Archeo palette. So it has like these craftly designs, and you open it up and it's all sparkly. I will say, 2 of my shadows arrived broken when I first got this palette. So this beautiful orange and this beautiful yellow. I didn't talk to the brand about it. I didn't like reach out and be like, hey, can you replace my shadows? Because I'm used to pressing shadows. I Hulk smash something in my life like every day. I didn't drop these. They arrived broken to me. The brand reached out to me and asked if they could replace the shadows, which I was very, very grateful for. When I was trying to just repress these shadows and live my life, I did spill alcohol on the palette, which somewhat removed some of the beautiful paint that had been hand painted on this palette. I could kick myself for it. So I went in and tried to fix it as best I could with a Sharpie. So if you look in this area, it's a little discolored. Pay attention to the rest of it, because the rest of it's beautiful. And it's like, it's on the back, like it's so beautiful. Again, this color story is so beautiful to me and so absolutely unique. Like, please take a second to take in this color story. Oh my gosh, like this and the Paleo palette, I don't have a lot, if anything, like them in my collection. And then just holding them up together, I feel like the 2 color stories complement each other very well. I do love to use these 2 palettes in conjunction with each other because I just think they're both so absolutely beautiful. Performance-wise, formula-wise, I'm going to start with a huge con and then go into the pros, because I don't want to shit on a company. I don't want to but I have to be honest. I don't like the mattes in either of these palettes. Honestly, they're so difficult to get to work for me, if that is a correct sentence. They're very difficult to use. These lighter colors, not so much. Like the yellow and the orange that were broken and then sent to me for replacement are my 2 favorite mattes in either palette. And because these are lighter in tone, I did find them easier to work with. But these blues, even this pink and this like beautiful burgundy red, I can't get over how beautiful these colors are. But I find these shadows, these matte shadows, so horribly difficult to work with. I do love this mustard here though, I will say. This is good mustard yellow. The reason why I'm saying they're difficult to use, and I'm not saying that I'm like some kind of eyeshadow expert. I'm not saying that I'm a makeup artist. I'm not saying that like, you know, I'm just, as someone with a lot of eyeshadows who's used a lot of eyeshadows, I cannot use any of these mattes without experiencing like a crap ton of skipping on my eyelids, to the point where like there's been times where I wanted to use these palettes to like for my work look, and I had to like actively make the decision not to, because it would just take me too long, because I would have to go in too much and blend too much to get them to work or to look acceptable for me to leave the house in. And that sounds really harsh, but like especially these like blues and these deeper shades skip so bad on my eyes, like so badly, to the point where I'm like, it feels like I've never used eyeshadow before. And it really breaks my heart saying that, because I know how hard the brand worked on these palettes and how like special these are. And especially like the brand reached out to Angelica here on YouTube to do the lookbook for the Archeo palette. And to me, that's amazing that they reached out to a small YouTuber to do their lookbook. I think that's so incredible. I think the concept of these palettes are incredible, because if you look in the lookbook, you're supposed to use all of these colors as quads, and I think that makes so much sense. But I just find the mattes are too difficult to work with, to the point where I don't want to reach for them, and it's heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking. The yellows, like the lighter colors definitely work a lot easier, but to me the best way that I can explain this is like, if you remember the infamous Alyssa Ashley subculture video, the one that made everyone hate subculture, that is my exact experience with these matte eyeshadows. When you dip your brush into these pans, they explode in powder. This is just like a little E.L.F. crease brush. I don't know if you see it, but I'm just like tapping the way I would always tap an eyeshadow. And I say this when I do get ready with me, I tap into eyeshadows and then blend. Can you see all the kick up that just happened? Like, whew, and it sucks. It really sucks because I love this color story so much. But like, there are other mattes in my collection that I could reach for that are so much easier to blend. And I do know that when the brand reached out to me to offer to replace these matte shadows, which I'm so grateful for, they did say that they were trying a new pressing technique, and they think that's why a lot of their shadows were breaking in transportation, because I haven't really heard anybody else have the same issues with the matte that I've had. So I don't know if it is because they tried this new pressing technique with the new launch of the new Archeo palette, with the new release of the Paleo palettes. I don't know if that has something to do with it, because to me that's what it seems like it is. If people were complaining about subculture because they were being pressed too hard, I kind of feel like these are having the same issue. I will say, however, on a much more positive note, I love the metallic formula. Like, total opposite experience. I think the metallic formula is absolutely beautiful. The metallics are super nice and creamy, super pretty, very foiled, and a very opposite experience from the mattes. I find these extremely easy to work with, and I think the color choices are so unique. A lot of these are duochromes, and I just think they're so beautiful. Every time I've worn these foils on my lids, I always get stopped and get complimented or asked what I'm wearing. Like, they're so beautiful. For me, I just want to like reiterate the positives for a second. These palettes were sent to me like so well wrapped, like think like 90s Barbie level of difficulty, like to even get out of the package, like to the point where I was worried that it might like break the shadows because they were so securely wrapped. The detailing of the hand painted packaging is so incredible. The color stories are so incredible. The fact that they chose to work with Angelica is so amazing. And I gotta say, I love these color stories so much, and I love them so much that I do choose to keep reaching for these even though the mattes are difficult to work with. So ways that I've kind of worked around it is if I place the mattes where I want them and then like lightly blend out the edges with a scratchy brush, that helps a lot, as opposed to dipping and just like going in with windshield wiper motions like I would with a normal matte shadow. Also really laying down a transition of like a lighter color to help blend out those deeper colors. But when it comes to like, do I want to recommend these to you guys, that I don't know. Because I believe I paid, with shipping and tax and everything, I believe I paid around $140 for the bundle, which makes these $70 a piece. I don't know. It's hard to say, because would I buy these again? Would me personally, if these were taken out of my collection, would I go out of my way to repurchase them again? Like if something happened to them, they were taken from me, I used them up, whatever. Probably yes, because I love these colors so much and they're so unique, and I can make the mattes work, but it takes a lot of extra time and patience to make the mattes work. And I think maybe for what I paid for them, is that worth it to me? I don't know. The fact that they're in handmade packaging, the fact that it's a brand that so obviously cares about their products and cares about their customers, and went through the trouble of like replacing individual pans for me, and they sent sample eyeshadows with the order, and it's just like the detailing of even like taking these out of the packaging. There's like glittery dinosaur glitter like stickers that pop out of this box, and like diamonds that pop out of this one to go with the theme. It's like, it's so beautiful and it's so nice, and like every single detail I love so much. It makes me so happy. But the mattes just drive me fucking crazy. Maybe I'm alone with this experience. Maybe it is just me. Maybe I'm just got sent some tricky mattes. Maybe it's like the brand said, they tried pressing their mattes differently and it's not working out for them. I don't know. If you bought these palettes, please let me know your experience, because maybe I am alone in this, because I want so badly to be able to recommend these palettes to you guys, because I just think they're so absolutely beautiful. Like, I can't get over how much I love these colors. Ugh, it sucks. It sucks so much. I don't know. Please, like I said, if you've bought these palettes, please reach out to me. Like, please leave comments down below about your experiences with them, because like, there's this purple. Oh my god. It's so pretty. Oh my gosh. Whew. I should just specify that I said I paid $140 for them. I just double checked my confirmation email. That was like $140 Canadian. So the conversion rate to USD is a little bit cheaper, so it's probably more like $110, but still like $50, $60 a palette. Take my review with this as you will. Do with it what you want. Does that make sense? Also, probably maybe seek out other reviews on these palettes if you're interested in them. I will say though, I love the branding. I know I said it like 1,000 times. If they release a Geo palette, I'm going to be so all over that. So it's not going to stop me from ordering from the brand in the future. My experiences with the matte shadows, I probably would repurchase these again because I love the colors so much. Again though, take that as it will. Like, I'm not someone who likes to tap out. I should include this. Every time I use these shadows, I do have to tap out the color on my brush. And I don't like doing that because I feel like tapping off your brush is for quitters. And I'm obviously kidding. So for all the Gils and Lindas that are getting ready with the hate comments right now, like, I'm kidding. But I do have to so carefully like execute how I use these shadows so that I don't look ridiculous. Moving on. I just realized I didn't even swatch the damn palettes. Let me get a few mattes and just swatch them real quick. They swatch really beautifully because they are very pigmented shadows, which really is why I feel like it's subculture logic that maybe they press the shadows too hard to get that level of pigmentation, and that's why they're so difficult to blend. There's only 2 mattes in the Paleo palette, I should say, which I don't personally mind, but like they do swatch very nicely because they are pigmented shadows. I just like, maybe it's me. I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. I don't, but like this blue, oh my god. I was like, let's look at this blue for a second. So I don't, I gotta stop. I gotta stop talking about this. Like, we gotta move on. I got one more palette to talk about. We gotta move on. Finally, the Dragon Child palette from Makeup Monsters. And I say finally because since the second I said that I bought this, everyone's like, you gotta tell me what you think of it. Oh man, do I have thoughts on this palette. This is the first time that I ever tried Makeup Monsters, and I had been desperately wanting to try Makeup Monsters because I know that Georgia, my bestie Georgia Harris, has nothing but positive things to say about their liquid lipsticks. So when this palette came out, first of all, when I saw it, I was like, I don't care who makes that palette, I'm buying it. But also, I wanted to try this in the liquid lipstick formula. So I grabbed this, I grabbed a liquid lipstick. I'll talk about this first. The Dragon Child palette. So I know the light with the reflective packaging sucks. It's in this dragon scale packaging. Has this nice raised texture on it. This palette feels hefty. This is like a very heavy palette. Like, I'm assuming they put weight in the palette because companies add weight to their packaging components so that you feel like you're getting your money's worth when you hold it. This is hefty. So it says Dragon Child. I kind of wish that the text was black just so you could see it better against this like scaly, holographic, shiny background, but that's just me being nitpicky. You open it up and it has this really fun artwork of a lady with a dragon, or lady. She also kind of looks like a dragon. And it says, if you want to conquer the world, you best have dragons, which is a George R.R. Martin quote. It says it right there. And then it has, in my personal opinion, one of the most beautiful color stories that I've ever seen in my life, ever. This palette, like, endlessly inspires me to step out of my comfort zone, to do different things, to play around with color combinations, to just like, like I said, like I mentioned earlier, some crazy fucking eye looks have been happening at my job, and I love it. And like, oh my god, I love this palette so much. I love this palette so much. I love this palette so much. I think this color selection is so beautiful and amazing and well thought out. My only complaints, my truest only complaints, because I think there's all beautifully cool tone. They all make sense. I know a lot of people were like, I don't get the red. I've included the red on my lower lash line today. I haven't done this in a while. I always like blink weird because I'm looking at myself. This is my eye look today. I love this so much. The red to me makes sense because it's also a cooler blue base red. You get a darker one to go with it. Pretty much every color in the palette has a darker shade to go with it, which I like. My only complaint is that the 2 purples in the palette, they're both beautiful. They're both a little gray based. I don't think we need both. I think they're different enough but similar enough that we maybe could, I don't know, maybe now that I'm swatching them, maybe not. No, I stand by this opinion. We don't need both. I love that there's not a matte white or a matte black in this palette because I'm getting really sick of companies just throwing matte whites and matte blacks, that's a mouthful, into every single palette because I don't think we need them at this point. I like that instead they did a bluish based gray because I think it just goes perfectly with the rest of these colors and it helps deepen them out very well. As you guys can see, this is a mostly matte palette minus these two glittery metallic shades here, and I think my criticism of that is the same as a lot of people's criticism of that. It doesn't seem like this yellow gold makes a lot of sense. I know that Makeup Monster said they wanted to throw gold into the palette because dragons and gold. I think it would have been super cute if they kept this an all matte palette and then released maybe like a gold loose pigment to go with it. I think that could have been a cute idea. This pink though is kind of nice. It does complement these shades really well. Not my favorite metallic shades, but not my least favorite either. They can be built up to be very opaque, but I think at first application they're a little sheer and a little glittery. I don't know. I maybe could have lived without them and maybe could have had this be an all matte palette, but I don't hate that they're in there either, if that makes sense. This matte formula though is fucking incredible. I'm shocked at how incredible these are. This is like my ideal eyeshadow formula because they're so pigmented and they're so creamy, and it's that more dense formula that I referenced earlier that makes blending like a dream, but can also run the risk of muddying together because they are more like slick, if that makes sense. Like when you have a stiffer, drier eyeshadow formula, it's easier to put the shadow in more specific places because it's not going to move around too easy, whereas too slick of a formula tends to like rub around, if that makes sense. Rub around, does that make sense? Like, you know what I mean? So this is a more slick, heavy, dense, creamier, etc. formula. But the pigmentation is absolutely unreal. I really, shocked. Every eye look I've done with this palette comes out beautiful and amazing. The color combos, I think they work so well together. I think this palette was so well thought out. I will say the blue shadows always stain my fingers and my eyes without fail, which is ironic because I really thought looking at this palette, because this is a vegan palette, and vegan palettes, because you're not using things like carmine and instead of relying on things just like strictly pigments to get pigmentation, I thought for sure it was this red that was going to give me a problem, but these reds don't stain my eyes, which is unusual, like I said. I will say though, these were the two trickiest mattes for me to work with. If out of all of the matte colors, I thought it was going to be the blues that were going to be trickier to work with. The red skips a little bit more than the blues, but it's nothing that taking the extra time to blend out doesn't fix. So it's not to the point where with Clionadh I was like heavily disappointed. It's not that, it just takes the extra blending in my personal experience for me. Another thing I really like about this palette is it's really been pushing me to do all matte looks, which I normally never do. I normally like to always have a heavy foiled metallic on the lid, but really overall, like, minimal complaints, if any, about this palette. This is a favorite palette for me. Like, if I were to have to start over with my eyeshadow collection tomorrow and start replacing things that I really like think are special and want to have and want to keep, this is something that I would want to have and want to keep for sure. Like, I love this palette so much. I love how beautiful my eye looks turn out with this. I love how easy it is to use. I love how pigmented it is. It is $42, so a little bit on the pricier side, but I do think that it's worth it. You do get some kick up, like bad kick up in the pans. Personally, doesn't bother me. Again, it's not like the Clionadh shadows where I feel like it's a problem. It's kind of, I don't know, maybe I'm just being biased at that point because I like the shadows so much. Same thing. It does kick up quite a bit. You know, that doesn't really bother me if the shadows are easy to use. Take that again for what you will. Kick up bothers a lot of people. It doesn't, like I said, doesn't normally bother me. But yeah, really, really impressed. Really love this so much. The liquid lipstick, which I'm wearing. I limited myself and I only got one liquid lipstick at the time of placing my order. I'm really also very impressed with this. I did find that like the first time I really wore this, like for the day, it was crumbling. And I was like very confused because I've only ever heard good things about this lip formula. By the way, I'm wearing the shade Jealousy. So I was really confused and I messaged Georgia and I'm like, my lipstick is crumbling. Like, is that something that normally happens? And she's like, I have the same lip color. I don't know what your problem is. I found that I just had to shake up the tube and that fixed the problem for me. So I don't get the crumbling anymore. I just think that was like a me problem, not a makeup problem. I have since bought more of this formula because I was waiting for like the sale to end all sales that would really be like, if it's now or never. As I'm filming this, they're having a buy one, get one free promo deal of equal or lesser value on all of their products. Which that means if you're buying 2 lipsticks, it's basically 50% off both. That's incredible. However, I believe the reason they're doing that is because the brand is getting ready to rename itself and rebrand entirely. And I do want to talk about that because that really pisses me off. If you didn't know, Makeup Monsters is going to no longer exist, I believe, by the end of the year, and they will instead become Makeup Menagerie and become more animal focused and donate profits to animal charities. And I think that part is nice, but I just physically don't get rebranding completely to the point of changing your company name. Like, I don't get it. I don't get why you would release something this incredible that's getting a lot of hype on social media, and you have a lip formula that is very often talked about on social media as being incredible, and I can attest to that, this lipstick went on very opaque and I only needed one swipe, and it's very nice. Comes in a nice tube, and it has this like more teardrop shaped wand, which is pretty unique, and it like the product sits in the middle of it very nice, and I just find like they have brand recognition is my point. Like, they have nice products and they have brand recognition. I don't get why you would release something like this the same year that you're planning to end your company and create a new company. That doesn't make sense to me. From a consumer standpoint, it really kind of turns me off from the brand, actually, because I want to be able to wear, like, I have to find new spooky lips, and I'm looking forward to wearing their spooky lip formula in my videos. But as a YouTuber, if you guys like my lip color and you can no longer buy it at the end of the year because the company decided to change itself, like, that doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. Like, they're known for having good products, and then they release this like standout killer product. It doesn't make sense. And I also saw on their Instagram they're teasing another eyeshadow palette, so that really doesn't make sense to me. Like, why are you making new palettes and new products and like wonderful products when you're just going to be like, you're transitioning into a new company? It doesn't make sense. Are you going to keep the same products but no longer be Makeup Monsters? Which, like, none of it makes sense. I really wish they weren't doing that. I really wish they maybe had a animal focused line within their pre-existing company, or made the shift to have all their products have a piece of it go to charity, like within Makeup Monsters, because I just feel like they fill a niche in the makeup world, and it's sad that they are stepping away from that. And it just, even if I wasn't a YouTuber, as a consumer, it just doesn't make sense to me. And now I'm just repeating myself. But definitely also let me know what you guys think about that. Do you think the rebranding is a good move on their part? Because I personally don't, but to each their own. Maybe you guys think it's great. Maybe you think it'll help them appeal to a more mass audience than what they may have now, because they're kind of like weird kid makeup. Maybe people who were afraid of them before might gravitate towards them in the future. I don't know. Talk to me down below. I love talking to you guys. But yeah, with that, I don't know why I always end my videos with these hand movements. I'm like voguing. With that, this is the end of my review for all these products. Whew, I feel like I got like a little negative and a little serious in this one. Tone it down. Get back into my happy place. Makeup is fun. But yeah, let me know what you think about, I almost just pulled a Raw Beauty Chrissy and said let me guys know. Let me know what you think about all of these products, if you've picked any of them up, if you have opinions on them. My hands are still stained, which is going to be interesting because I have to film more videos tonight. If you picked up any of these products and maybe you didn't have the same kind of problems that I had, please like say it in the comments below, because I always want people to have the most information that they possibly can if they're going to be purchasing these products, just based off my experience and other people's experiences. We can work as a collective brain to help everybody out. I think that is a cool part about YouTube, is that we can all share our experiences. But yeah, if you like this video, if you like reviews, if you like eyeshadow, if you like me, hit thumbs up and subscribe if you have not already. Make sure to follow me on my Instagram, which is also Spooky Lips and Fat Hips, because that is where I'm posting if I'm not on YouTube at the moment. I'm trying my hardest to post new videos every single weekend, so we'll see how long that works out. But for me, I feel like I'm the most consistent when I don't try to post during the week. I just stick to weekends. So new outro. I post new videos every single weekend. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video and for caring about what I have to say when it comes to different products, because it really means a lot that you guys invest so much into my word on things. So yeah, talk to me down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!